All right, I'll just take questions to start off with. Anybody have a question?
Yeah, Speaker Regier, can you respond to what Minority Leader Abbott said about how we got here, and that there is one person who is responsible for how we could have avoided this situation, and it was not Representative Zephyr?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there is one person. We've had multiple breaches of decorum. We do every session have people from both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat, that breach decorum, and it's always met with, I realize that, I'm going to stay within that moving forward, except for save one. And one representative did not want to operate within the rules that the House voted on. We voted on and passed these rules. We got an entire Chapter 2 of how we're to behave and debate on the House floor, and there was no acknowledgement of staying within that moving forward. So while it happened with other representatives multiple times moving forward, that was remedied and moved on. In this situation, it wasn't. And that's something that we're not going to treat one representative different than the other 99.
Speaker, could you clarify specifically what in Representative Zephyr's remarks do you feel specifically broached decorum to this level that it had to be treated differently?
Sure, demeaning, and this came we heard multiple times. I mean, we could look back in the history of it, even from the minority party, of you don't demean people's votes on on where they're going, their motives or reasons for why they're voting the way that they are voting. And we saw that happen this go around, and that's a major breach of decorum that in the past has been acknowledged by both sides.
Speaker, my understanding is that the action today was also based on what happened during the protest on Monday. So can you speak to Representative's conduct that day?
Yeah, and that's a great question. That was, today it was about the actions there with, having to clear the House, police in riot gear. That is not normal operations of the Montana House of Representatives. My job is to protect the safety and dignity and integrity of the House, and I'm going to do that whatever that takes. And so, with the actions that happened from the representative, urging it on, not even, like Representative Moore said on the floor, that there was multiple opportunities to remove from the situation or even quelch the situation, and it wasn't. It was inciting, and that's no way to operate the People's House, I believe, in any state.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Speaker. What was the sort of reasoning for choosing this motion as opposed to, pursuing the full resolution?
And once again, it's like Representative Moore said. It's I believe a fair assessment of the situation. My job, listen, and it's not. I know that there's a lot of extracurricular reasons that, especially the media, that you guys have put into this, and it is not. It is me as the Speaker, just protecting the dignity and safety and integrity of the House, no matter what happens, and we can't have that kind of behavior on the floor moving forward. And so I guess to your point, Arn, of this gets us that of removing. I did not know what was going to happen moving forward with that representative, if there was going to be more threats to just even safety. Like I said, the staff and pages and the sergeants, the clerks, that should not be in question when they come to work. And it was in question if that representative was staying on the floor. So this way the representatives can still participate. Their constituents are still going to get a vote. They're still going to get that moving forward. But this way we're still protecting the safety of the House.
How do you respond to her concerns that her constituents won't have that voice, as there's obviously some major legislation still to be decided going forward, and she won't be able to participate in the debate on the floor for the rest of the session?
And once again, voting privileges are not revoked at all, and committee privileges are not revoked, so the vote is still there. That is the vote of the people. And as far as the debate and putting the voice in, once again, I put that back on Representative Zephyr of if you're not going to operate within the House rules like all other 99 do that, that is up to Representative Zephyr to remedy that and come back and play within the rules that everybody has agreed on, voted on, and has been following except for Representative Zephyr.
Just to clarify then, like in the past you've said an apology would maybe reverse some of the action taken, but at this point now, are we beyond that?
Yeah, I mean, and once again, this wasn't, I mean, I was one vote. I was one vote today of the 100, so the body was the one that made the decision today to move forward with the punishment. That's the word that's used in our Montana Constitution. We have a dispel or punishment. We went along with the punishment, and that is to just remove that threat to the safety of the House moving forward. So that wasn't even my choice. So I mean, I was one vote of that.
Yeah,
So.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, if she apologized now, could there be a motion to reverse course with what just happened?
I'm sure. I mean, it's once again up to the body. They can make choices as they do. I would say for Representative Zephyr moving forward, an apology would be a great step of if there is going to be a legislative career moving forward, what does next session look like? I think there needs to be a lot of trust that's rebuilt. A lot of trust was destroyed when you have police in riot gear coming into the Montana House. That really burned a lot of bridges.
Curious, there's been some discussion about how this disrupted the legislative process, but we're now 2 days in where we haven't acted on any second readings on the floor. I mean, do you think that the response to this has been itself disruptive at all?
Well, I wouldn't blame the response, I'd blame the disruptor on it.
You referenced inciting earlier. Can you say specifically what you feel Representative Zephyr did to incite what happened yesterday?
Yeah, and it's all on captured on the MPAN. You can go back and look at it, but what's that?
In your view, what
In my, well, I think it's blatantly obvious when you stand there in the middle of the floor by yourself, just holding up the mic and egging on the, I guess you could say, disruption. I mean, a lot of different words were used today, but I can come back again. We had police in riot gear here. That should never happen on any House floor.
Do you think that was a proportionate response?
What's that?
Do you think the riot police were a proportionate response?
Yeah, they were not leaving. I think law enforcement did a great job of responding to the situation. Like I said, I believe there were 7 arrests, and I can't praise law enforcement enough on the way they handled the situation. They didn't overreact, yet they got the job done.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Jonathan.
Speaker, you had in your statement the day of, you described it specifically as a riot, and I was curious how you, because my understanding is there wasn't any property damage or anything, so I was curious how you just define it as a riot specifically.
Sure, police in riot gear.
All reports said nonviolent. Sorry.
I wanted to ask, heard a little bit from Representative Zephyr and Representative Howell about this, but they feel like they're representing a minority, their community, and that their experiences lead to the type of testimony that we heard that triggered all this. I'm wondering how you see the House as being able to balance. We have people who are speaking from minority groups who have a much different perspective that they're trying to share. Do you feel like that can still happen in the House?
Sure, and once again, this is not about a certain issue or not. This is about behavior. And once again, Representative Howell does a great job of articulating the viewpoint and where the stance on where they're coming from, and once again, I think you can do that all within decorum. We debate tough issues here, as in any time. We're expected to by our constituents to stand up for the issues that we believe in on both sides of the aisle. And every issue, I mean, every 100 representatives can walk away and say, hey, this issue is very personal to me, and but you got to do it professionally, and you got to do it with civil debate, and that is not what happened with Representative Zephyr.
Thank you.
So, one more.
All reports that I've heard from law enforcement said that the protesters were nonviolent. Is there anything that we're not hearing that was violent or a threat of violence?
No, I mean, I don't know. I've not read police reports or dug into that at all. All I know is that we had police in riot gear here on the Montana House of Representatives, and that should never happen. So, thank you very much.